Imagine walking into an active, just incredibly chaotic university construction zone. Like the walls are completely torn apart down to the studs.
Oh, yeah, just dust hanging thick in the air.
Exactly. Dust everywhere, power tools echoing down the concrete hallways. It is basically organized mayhem.
Right?
And yet, right in the absolute dead center of this tornado, a pristine, state-of-the-art athletic locker room is being seamlessly installed.
Wow.
Right? No frantic delays, no massive budget overruns. The question is, how does that actually happen?
It defies almost everything we've come to expect from modern institutional projects. I mean, usually chaos and friction and delays, really they're treated as just mandatory side effects of any major facility upgrade.
Yeah, that's just the cost of doing business, right? But today's deep dive is zeroing in on exactly how that seamless execution happened at Sewanee, the University of the South. Specifically, we're looking at their Lacrosse locker room renovation.
Right, the lacrosse room.
We are pulling from a really detailed project story today, alongside a comprehensive set of frequently asked questions regarding athletic facility upgrades. And the mission for this deep dive isn't just about athletic storage.
No, it's a lot bigger than that.
It is. We are really trying to unpack the mechanism of how constraint breeds true innovation. How stripping away unnecessary bureaucracy and avoiding the trap of over-engineering actually yields the absolute highest performance.
Because we so often fall into this trap, right?
Mm.
Assuming that a massive, impactful transformation requires, I don't know, immense, agonizing complexity.
Oh, totally.
But the Sewanee case study turns that assumption completely upside down. It fundamentally proves that a clear vision and practical alignment will always beat a blank check for wild, unchecked ideas.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to truly understand how they achieved that seamless installation right in the middle of a construction zone, we have to rewind how this partnership even started.
The origin story.
Yeah, the origin story, which completely breaks the standard corporate playbook for how universities buy things.
It shatters the playbook. I mean, if you look at typical university procurement, it is an absolute beast of bureaucracy.
Oh yeah, the red tape is endless.
Right. You have the drafting of a formal request for proposal, an RFP, which takes weeks. That goes out to vendors who spend like a month building these 100-page slide decks.
And the meetings.
The endless alignment meetings,
Yeah.
the committee votes, the legal reviews. It is a system literally designed to move as slowly as possible.
But according to the project story, they completely bypassed all of that.
Yeah.
There was no formal RFP. A team member from the locker company was literally just driving through Tennessee, visiting a few other schools, and just decided to make an unannounced stop at Sewanee.
Just walked right in.
Literally just walked through the door of the athletic department and started a conversation. It makes me think of, imagine walking into a crowded, super popular restaurant without a reservation.
Oh, good luck with that.
Right. Expecting to be turned away, only to have the matron to say, actually, we were looking for someone exactly like you to sit at the chef's table.
That's a great way to put it.
The timing was just that perfect, because the athletic department was actually already evaluating their options.
And what's fascinating here is that what made this encounter successful wasn't just luck. I mean, luck was a factor, sure, but it was the realization that the athletic department already had a concept and a direction.
Right. They weren't starting from scratch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't need a vendor to come in and reinvent their vision. They needed a partner to elevate the vision they already had and, make it actually fit their space, their timeline, and their budget.
So the conversation immediately shifted from this casual drop-in to actively walking the space.
Right. On day one, they were physically walking the room, measuring the actual constraints, reviewing layouts. Instead of retreating to build a formal pitch deck, they just got to work.
Which is so refreshing.
Right.
And having secured that partnership by actually respecting Sewanee's existing vision, the team now had to execute it physically. Which brings us to the design choices for the Lacrosse team.
And this is where it gets really interesting practically.
Yeah, I want to call it the anti-over-engineering approach,
I like that.
because they used TFL thermally fused laminate materials.
Mm-hmm.
It brought the school's branding into the room, cost-effectively, very clean finishes. But I have to push back a little here.
Okay, go for it.
We always hear about these multi-million-dollar, incredibly flashy athletic facilities in college sports. We're talking waterfalls in the middle of the locker room, zero-gravity sleep pods, facial recognition scanners.
Oh, yeah, it's an absolute arms race of luxury.
It's science fiction stuff.
Yeah.
So why go with the classic open-style unit and standard TFL instead of something wildly futuristic?
Well, because that modern arms race often masks a complete lack of functional utility.
Yeah.
The core philosophy driving this specific project, and this is heavily emphasized in the source FAQs, is that the best locker rooms are the ones athletes actually use.
Actually use, right?
A waterfall looks incredible on a recruiting brochure, sure, but it does absolutely nothing to help a tired athlete store a sweaty, awkwardly shaped piece of equipment after a brutal practice.
Yeah, I guess a waterfall doesn't hold your cleats very well.
Exactly. They focused on specific functional choices. Like, they included integrated stick holders tailored specifically for lacrosse players.
Oh, that's smart.
It is. They went with open access for everyday practicality and just added basic cushioned seating. It provides comfort, but without over-engineering the whole thing.
You know, it makes you think about your own workspace or even your home. Like for anyone listening right now, how often do you add extra features just for the sake of it?
Oh, all the time. The smart fridge syndrome.
Yes, you buy the smart refrigerator with a giant touchscreen on the door, but like 3 months later, you never use the screen.
The software is completely obsolete.
Exactly. And really, you just needed a fridge that effectively keeps your vegetables crisp. A layout that simply works is infinitely more valuable than a complex system you have to actively fight with.
Right. And a locker room that simply works is doing a lot more heavy lifting behind the scenes than just holding lacrosse sticks.
Yeah, the FAQs get into the broader implications of these renovations. It's a functional space, but it serves a much larger strategic purpose for the university.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to understand why this matters to a collegiate program. A locker room is a prospective athlete's window into the program's identity.
Oh, sure. It's all about recruiting.
It's huge for recruiting. It shows the school's actual investment in its players. It's the space where team culture is built daily.
It's kind of like a company's boardroom, or honestly, a family's kitchen.
The kitchen analogy is perfect.
Right, because it doesn't matter how nice your living room is.
Yeah.
At a party, everyone ends up in the kitchen.
Always.
It's the central hub where the actual culture is negotiated and lived every single day. The unscripted stuff happens there.
And that's why the material and layout choices are so critical and why they vary. The FAQs point out how these spaces have to adapt to different environments.
Right, because lacrosse is one thing, but what about other sports?
Well, exactly. Sewanee used TFL, which is great for a relatively dry environment. But if you have a higher moisture environment, like an ice hockey rink,
Oh, yeah, melting ice everywhere.
right, or an aquatic center with chlorine and humidity, TFL would eventually fail there. You'd need something like phenolic materials, which are basically waterproof solid slabs.
So the environment dictates the material.
Totally. And the sport dictates the customization. Enclosed lockers or integrated charging stations might make sense for a basketball team reviewing film on tablets. But for lacrosse, an open layout builds that communal, high-energy culture.
Okay, so understanding those high stakes, the recruiting, the team culture, the actual installation process has to be handled meticulously.
It has to be flawless.
Which brings us to the logistics side of the Sewanee story.
Yeah.
The mechanics of momentum, really. The project was defined by its efficiency. Quick approvals, clear communication.
Alignment of expectations.
Right. But I have to ask about this one detail from the text.
Yeah.
The installation happened smoothly, even as the surrounding space was being renovated.
The chaotic construction zone we mentioned at the start.
Yeah. How do you coordinate a major locker room install in the middle of an active construction zone without everything just falling apart?
Well, this is where strong partnerships actually show up. By establishing really clear goals early on, I'm talking budget, timeline, athlete needs, daily usage. The project completely avoided scope creep.
Ah, scope creep. The project killer.
Exactly. When you define the box that strictly, you don't get distracted by the chaos outside of it. And the FAQs also explain that larger facility upgrades can even happen in phases over time.
Phased installations.
Right. It allows programs to improve spaces while maintaining normal operations. You don't have to shut down the whole athletic department for a year. You isolate one room, upgrade it flawlessly, and move on.
This raises an important question for anyone listening, honestly.
Absolutely.
Are your expectations aligned before the hammer swings?
That's the million-dollar question. This raises an important question for anyone managing any kind of project. Are you and your partners completely locked in on the vision before the work even starts?
Because if you are, you can execute a precision installation inside a tornado.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a lot of ground today.
You really have.
Summarizing the key lessons from this Sewanee deep dive, it seems like successful outcomes rely on a few core things: clear goals, open communication, and the ability to adapt without overcomplicating everything.
I'd completely agree with that. It's about practical alignment over theoretical perfection.
Right. So for you, the listener, whether you are planning to upgrade a single room, an entire facility, or just managing a project at work, the starting point is always a conversation about what matters most to your day-to-day operations. Find your version of the awkward lacrosse stick and build the solution around that.
Yeah, start with the functional friction. And there's a subtle detail from the text that I think leaves us with a really fascinating thought to ponder.
Oh, lay it on us.
The source mentioned that following the success of this specific space, additional conversations are already actively underway for future upgrades at Sewanee.
Oh, wow. So it's snowballing.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder. When we successfully execute a simple, highly functional project without overcomplicating it, does that actually build the necessary trust to tackle much larger, more complex transformations down the road?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, is the ultimate value of a small win actually the permission it grants you to dream bigger?
The permission to dream bigger. I love that. By proving you can master the straightforward things, you earn the right to do the massive transformations later.
Precisely.
Well, that is a fantastic thought to leave off on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Remember to keep asking the right questions, and we will catch you next time.